Today, I want to shatter some self-limiting beliefs about money, right? Because I've been thinking a lot about how influencers and creators post a course or a community or some sort of high-ticket item, right? They'll sell something for like $1,000, and immediately people are quite put off by that. They're like, "Whoa, you're a sellout," right? I think that there are definitely lots of people who do that kind of thing, and they are truly offering no value, like it's a garbage product. And as a result, people get mad, and they should be mad, because if you're selling something for that high of a price, then you should be giving someone something of value. But that does not mean that everything is bad. And there are creators out there that are offering expensive things, but they are worth it. And I think that just because something is being sold at a premium does not mean that it's immediately terrible. I was watching a video from Dan Coe about this, where humanity goes forward when we exchange ideas and services for money. That's how the economy works, right? And so there's nothing intrinsically wrong with selling, nor should it be like demonized. It's necessary for us to, you give me money and I give you value back. That's how things work. But the flip side is that obviously humanity does not move forward when there's an unequal exchange. And like I said, if a creator sells a really shitty product that no one wants or is not what people thought it was going to be, then that's a bad thing, because someone has taken all this money and not given the deserved value back. Let's think about it from like a growth perspective, right? If you're going to sell something, if you're going to create some sort of really complex, valuable course, then it takes a lot of time and energy and expertise, right? You have to struggle and really think about what is going to be valuable to your consumers, right? How do I actually logistically plan this out? And as a result, you kind of have to like go outside of your comfort zone if you're going to sell something to someone, because you can't sell something that has no value. People are going to get mad about that. But if you don't grow, right? If you don't go through this process of figuring out how to market yourself and offer something of value to the world, like if you're working in a 9-to-5 where you're just doing someone else's vision, then you're not growing. You may be learning some things that are applicable to that job, but in terms of scaling your impact and doing something where you're creating a product that is really valuable, like you don't do that when you're doing someone else's vision. You are selling in a way, but you're working for someone else's sale, right? You're helping your boss sell. And it's like, don't you want to learn? Don't you want the former of that, where you're actually like learning how to grow and improve your knowledge? Like, I feel like that would be so enriching, and then you get to spread that knowledge to other people, and as a result, you should probably charge a good price for that, because what you're offering is valuable. I think in a way we've become extremely spoiled by YouTube, because it's a free platform, right? You can log on and watch whatever you want. I mean, you have like virtually endless content, and none of it costs anything to you. And a lot of it's really valuable stuff. But just because something is free does not mean that its value is zero, right? Like, one of the most successful examples of selling a high-ticket product is Hamza's Adonis School, right? So he built this community. It has like right now 1,200 members, I think, and it's like $129 a month. Like, it's not cheap. But I was watching his entire 40-minute sales letter call of like what he's telling you get when you join. And just to clarify, this is not me like stroking his ego or like trying to get you to join. I'm just telling you how it is. And he shows all of the different courses that he's made on different topics, and then he'll do weekly calls, and he'll often bring on like really, really prominent influencers like Mike Thurston, Dan Coe, as I mentioned before, he's been on, like Ali Abdaal, these industry leaders, these huge names in the industry. And it's all for a pretty reasonable price, I think. But when he made his initial video, he got comments of like, this is a sellout, this is a terrible product, right? And it's just sad to me, because I understand that like a lot of people can't afford that. If you're 17, 18, you don't have a job, you don't have much money to work with, like maybe you're just working with what your parents give you, then yeah, that's a lot of money. Right now, it's out of reach, or it seems ridiculous. Does not mean that in 5 years, when you gain some more money of your own, some more success of your own, then you can kind of give back and give someone money in exchange for the value. Because I mean, me personally, if I could pay $129 to talk to some of like the biggest influencers in the world, then I would do that. That's extremely valuable. Another example is my podcast, right? So I charge $30 for a 30-minute call, right? And it's a one-on-one call with me. Anyone can sign up, any viewer can sign up, but it is $30. And I remember when I started this back in November, I think it was, of 2023, I got not many comments, but some of like, $30? how dare you? You're like such a scumbag. And what does it do to your self-image when you believe that your time is worth literally $0? When you can't even tell yourself that, yeah, I'm going to charge for this because I'm worth X amount of money. Like that probably kind of destroys your self-esteem of like, oh, I'm worth nothing. Like that's so sad. And you need to stick up for yourself and know when you're worth. And if you want to connect this to like the real world for anyone this could be relatable to, it's like a job, right? And if you're interviewing and you are giving someone a range, let's say like you're applying for some sort of normal job and you're like, oh, I'll work for between $40,000 and $50,000. Of course, they're going to give you the 40 because you did not know your own self-worth. And so you kind of lowballed yourself and you said, oh, I'll only take 40. Like, stick up for yourself, man. Like, know how much you're worth. And if I went into a job and I'm saying like, I'm worth this amount of money, I'm not giving you a range or anything ridiculous, take it or leave it. And that's how you do it. You know, that's how you market yourself and tell people that, no, this is what I'm worth. Another big example is when I started my Minecraft server. I've mentioned this many times before, but I launched a paid private community through Minecraft and I had a Patreon and it was $15 a month. Not many people, but again, a few people were like, this is ridiculous. I cannot believe that you're charging money for a Minecraft server. But there were very real, tangible benefits to joining the server, and most people agreed on that. It was like, one, you got to be in the videos because I would often film on the server and you got to like interact with the community. And it was one of the few survival servers, you know, where you're building your own little base and you have like a farm or whatever you want to build. And it was protected because there's a barrier, you know, you have to pay to get in. You can't have someone just join and blow up all your stuff. You know, we had protections in place and it was like a really nice, tight-knit, protected community. And most people thought that that was valuable. But again, there were some people that thought that it should be $2 a month, not considering that it costs money to run a server and, you know, we have expenses of our own and we have to make a profit, you know, like there's nothing wrong with making money. And I want people to understand this, that you need to stop limiting yourself and believing that you're worth barely anything or even $0 when, no, your time is valuable. Your knowledge is valuable. A thing that I want to transition into that I think is really important is college and universities, right? Because this is often much compared to courses and online education through creators because it makes sense, right? It's an alternative to education in a way. But a lot of people, they demonize creator content and courses because it doesn't have the legitimate badge of being from a public university or something backed by the government. Because I'm not for a second saying that you need to abandon college and only take online courses. I mean, that is a little bit risky, but I want to just consider the alternative of this kind of education. So for one, why do we give so much legitimacy to universities, right? Why is it so respected? Well, obviously it's been around for a long time. People have gone through this pipeline for decades, if not centuries, and people generally expect that when you have a degree, you know what you're talking about. But I think that COVID really shattered that illusion because I went through college and I studied lots of really useless courses, and it was, you know, through Zoom, so that probably compromised the integrity of the course. But I just took many classes that were, for one, were not cheap, right? I would say that the average price for my tuition per semester based on the amount of classes I was taking probably was about $1,500 per class, and I went through these classes not gaining anything that valuable. And people will counter that argument of saying, well, it's not so much about the information as it is about the process of learning. And I agree with that to some extent. But again, during COVID, and now as we go through online classes, it's really easy to go through the motions in class. You know, professors, they'll give us stupid ass assignments and put you in breakout rooms and like, what did you guys think about the chapter? And like, you're not actually gaining anything useful. And I've gone out of many courses doing all of what was required of me in the curriculum. And I'm not like, okay, now I can do industry quality work. You know, I'm still very much having to do things on my own and teach myself things because the course was not sufficient. I think that this is often reduced a lot with creator content because, for one, it's usually a lot cheaper. There are courses that are higher than $1,500, but a lot of the time you can find great courses for $200, $500, $1,000, which is still, it sounds like a lot of money, but often I've found that these are much more specific. They are extremely tailored to a certain niche. And like, you can learn so much in a condensed period of time because there's no fluff, none of this bullshit of breakout rooms and all of the worksheets that don't actually add anything to your life. And like me, I would often have professors in my program that have been doing this for 10 or 20 years, and they're teaching things that are extremely outdated. And it just compromised the value of the class for me. And the benefit of online education through an individual, through a creator, is that they are at the cutting edge of their industry, and they are offering things to you that are applicable now. And I think that's particularly pertinent because the economy is definitely moving towards a digital realm, right? There's so many ways to make money online now through making a course. That's extremely valuable, but also content creation has become a much bigger thing, and people sell digital products now, like LUT packs for cameras, I don't know, anything. So why would you not want to learn from someone that is teaching you something that is applicable now versus outdated information from 20 years ago? Because many digital skills, like how to create a course and market yourself, are not taught at universities. You know, this is a very new thing as of a few years ago, probably since COVID started, that courses and online education really became a big thing. And there might be some classes that are teaching you this kind of thing at a traditional university, but probably not many. And I do want to acknowledge again, make this very clear, that there are people that make courses that have no business doing so. And they make pretty trash products that you might spend $1,500 on their course, and it didn't actually propel you towards your career, whatever you're trying to do. And I think that's bad. And I think that you would be right in saying that that is a poor way of doing business. But that does not discredit all of the really valuable courses. Like, for example, Ali Abdaal, he made Part-Time YouTuber Academy, where he teaches you exactly how to become a YouTuber and how to film yourself and how to have that camera presence and all this stuff, right? It's really valuable if you want to have that job of being a creator. And compared to even a semester of college, it's far cheaper. Like, one thing that I'm currently studying is IPGA. It's a pretty new business model that was coined by Sander Stage. He's a creator on YouTube. And IPGA means Info Products Growth Agency, which is basically exactly what I've been talking about, where instead of you being the creator, you help advise and scale and market other creators' courses, and then you take a profit share, right? So, for example, if I found some creator like myself who needs to find a better way to monetize and they have a big audience, you would partner with them and help them scale up some sort of course or community. And then when they launch that, you take a share of that. It is pretty specific, but it doesn't have to be just creators that you're marketing to. It could be I'm a roofer or something. I'm an expert carpenter and I want to make a course on carpentry and I want to share my experience, but I don't know how to make the online course. An IPGA expert would help you do that. And this is absurdly profitable. It's ridiculous how much money some of these guys are making. Upwards of $500,000 a month if you have 10 clients and they all have really successful businesses. And I can promise you that this is not being taught at a college or any sort of IPGA bachelor's degree, right? It doesn't exist. It's only online. And yet it's one of the most profitable new niches of how to make money on the internet. And again, this is how the digital world is progressing. It's no longer this outdated, you have to build a physical business and you have to offer some sort of product. I mean, that still exists, obviously. It always will exist. But there are very real ways to make big money on the internet. And it saddens me when a lot of people limit themselves or think that it's cowardly or greedy to sell something. And people like Sander Stage, they'll sell these $1,000 courses exactly on how to do this. And yeah, it's expensive, but if you're gaining a really valuable skill out of this, that's going to make you, if you then apply that knowledge to a business or some sort of career, then it was worth it, wasn't it? You have to invest in yourself a little bit. And again, this is not me trying to stroke Sander Stage's ego or any other creator. I'm just saying that do not disregard the alternative. When college is getting as expensive as it is and all of the impediments, the barriers to entry, don't write off the truly valuable creators out there, the people that are actually offering real value. Because again, there are grifters everywhere. Every industry has them. There are going to be dog shit courses everywhere, but there are diamonds in the rough, and there are people that are offering very valuable knowledge. And again, this is how humanity works. This is how our economy works. We exchange value. You give me money, I give you knowledge, or vice versa, right? It's how it works. As we get closer to the digital economy, this is the future. This is how people make millions of dollars. So the question is just whether you want to be a part of that future. So please let me know your thoughts on this. I know this might be a little bit controversial, but I truly believe that this is the future. And I would like to know if people have opposing, views on this, or if they agree that, courses are awesome. As long as it's valuable, I think that's what matters. But that's about it. So I'll catch you later.